Why, hello there. Now, it's been a while since we had some fun on this channel, and, of course, as usual, don't attack the people we'll be making fun of. We're here to laugh at them, not harm them and stuff like that. So, have fun with this one. It's a doozy. So, Games Workshop, in one of the rare moments, they managed to get a W. They finally got a proper win. And as it so happens, some people got a little bit more upset because of it. And why they get upset because of it? Well, here's the reason. In the new Horus Heresy box, which sounds to be interesting, I don't know, never got it, it says this in one of the books. The process by which space marines are created relies inherently on the hormonal and biological makeup of the human male, meaning that only males can be subjected to the transformation. Now, to most people that like Warhammer and 40k, we know that it makes sense. This makes sense. This is like a no-brainer. We already know this. The story's already been told about this. Well, there's this, should I say fringe? Okay, not fringe, but more like deficient part of the community that finds this to be harmful and not good in any way. And we're here for that. So let's start with the first one. I'm just doing this the normal route. So we got this. Well, this is disappointing. Source Horus Heresy 2.0 core book. So somebody thinks this is disappointing. In fact, it's not. It's proper and it's canon and it makes sense. And I guess that's a big problem with the Warhammer 40k community nowadays. It's infested with people that want to change it to their whims. Why? Because I guess their mother never let them play with action figures before. I don't know. Moving on. I can only hope this is supposed to serve as a contrast, showing that in the Heresy era, Space Marines could only be male to the 31st millennium when Guilliman and Call, or Fabius, unlock female Space Marines soon. Here's a little bit of a thing. The Emperor is the smartest being ever. The fact that Call could manage to replicate what he did and somehow make it better is a lore mistake, but you see, it's not only a lore mistake, it's also not true, because if you look at certain chapters that have flaws, you'll see that even the Primaries start developing those flaws, which means that Call didn't really do anything that smart, and at the end of the day, he managed to let them lay low for a moment, and they just popped up. Because the Emperor design is, well, stronger, flawless, and other such words compared to the design of an Adeptus Mechanicus. Moving on. Games Workshop. Warhammer is for everyone. Also, Games Workshop publishes transphobic pseudoscience as official lore for a sci-fi game in 2022. Now, I don't understand how that's transphobic, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care about it. I don't really care about it. We know about this thing from not first edition. First edition was Rogue Trader. Then the second edition started to cement a little bit of the lore, but even around third edition, somewhere like that, maybe, I don't know. But here's the thing: it's not transphobic to have only a male-only faction. You think the orcs are transphobic for only being male? I mean, you might as well be female. Nobody knows with how they look. My guess is that them acting more like football hooligans, they're male. Yeah. So I don't know what this person is talking about. And it's kind of funny to see them call this transphobic pseudoscience. Like, there's no difference between male and female. But whatever. Also, fun fact, I think a lot of them refer to this as that it uses child soldiers, which is false, but we'll get there. This is possibly the result of carelessly mining old material to bulk out the books without consideration for how the company and the hobby community has changed. If this blows up, it might force an official response. I mean, it will be unfortunate, but can Games Workshop lose any more respect than they have already done so by now? Can they lose even more respect than they already have? Stick with this, go further. This has been the lore for a while now, and this is how it is. Current sensibilities don't need to apply to stories. I mean, in a way they need to, but let's be honest here. It's been like this for years, and it hasn't changed. Don't change it. If it works, don't change it. If the shoe fits, wear it. Simple. Let's see. Yeah, still reads like a pamphlet J.K. Rowling would distribute to try and prove trans women are men. Is it J.K. Rowling or J.K. Rowling? I never got the Brits for saying Rowling. J.K. Rowling. Whatever. Yeah, well, this one's funny in of itself, but comparing Games Workshop and, well, the author of that book to J.K. Rowling. It's fun. I find this one fun. In of itself, as a joke, I find this one fun. Even if the person that posted it is... I don't find him that fun. Or her. Who knows nowadays. Let's move on. This, as is lore that was established before, also feels like, look, we're not taking your precious baby away. To the Chud demographic, I still think primaries can be female, since one call had time. Two, Malcador actually wanted women to also be able to serve. Yeah, okay, so this is always the... Oh, if you don't like this, you're... Chud. Well, it's the year of the Chud, baby. What can you do? Moving aside from that... It's funny in of itself because this person really gets affected by this so much. Like you see it when it comes to like the Chud demographic and precious baby. They're trying to make fun, and also their lore knowledge is kind of bad on this one. Because it is true. Malcador actually wanted women to also become space marines, but there was this catch that the Emperor couldn't do that because science wouldn't allow it. There now. I don't think you agree with that one that much. Let's see. Next, we have... Every time this topic comes up again, I get more tired about it. Games Workshop is a bullshit reason for Marines just being... a mob. You can still have women and... MBs as Marines. Nothing is stopping you to make them women. Trans women are just as women as cis women. I'll not get down into the later part of the argument. That will... If I speak out, YouTube will punish me. But what does AMAB mean? What does MBs stand for? I mean, at this point, I think it's something stupid. And that's why I put it here to laugh at it. Because God knows what this person wanted to say. Let's move on. Oh, this is one of my favorites. They actually made female space marines at the very start, and they were canon in Rogue Trader, but it didn't sell well, so they just quietly resigned them. All the lore justifications since then are just entrenched in retcons. Rogue Trader was an experiment. There was basically just things thrown out there, stolen from every property they could ever put their hands on, read or watch, and they made this. An important note why this is funny is that these people think that the Space Marines of Rogue Trader are the same as the Space Marines that we have now in 40k, which they are not. That is like expecting the old Pokemon designs to still count as Pokemon designs. They're still Pokemon. Oh, why isn't the old design from Rhydon in the game, or design from Bulbasaur in the game? Why isn't it there? Well, because not everything passes the benchmark when it comes to making something good. Okay? At some point, you're gonna make stuff you're gonna realize is not good, and you're gonna move on until you consolidate a good thing. You consolidate something that works. And this was 40k. I also have got Sisters of Battle, so shut up. Okay, next one. What really disappoints me about this is that it's felt for a long time that Games Workshop has actively encouraged people to design and to tell their own stories within the backdrop of their universe. And this is such an old and limiting piece of outdated lore that had seemingly been dropped. No, it's not outdated. It never changed, in fact. That's the funny thing. It never changed. It always remained the same. And that's the funny part to me. These people have no clue about what they're talking about. They don't understand the universe. They don't understand the lore. And we'll get to that pretty further on, a little bit about that. So yeah. Oh no, it's a backdrop for our universe. Nobody's forcing you to not kid bash your own female Marines. But I wouldn't be open to that thing. At the end of the day. Okay. Oh, now there's a one that's funny, and I think it's this one. Yes. This is just Peter Griffin with the no girls allowed scene. Ah, fuck's sake. Picture the writer, also clearly the targeted market. I'm just sorry. I mean, the target demographic for most fantasy and sci-fi things is boys, young boys, males in general. I'm not sure what you expect. There's also, it's stupid to put this here and talk like, oh, there's no women allowed in 40k. They've been allowed in 30k as well, in Horus Heresy. You're just not reading things right. Oh, you don't know how to read. That's also a possibility. You know, I never thought about it, that the people making these complaints don't know how to read. Like, they understand words, but they don't understand what they mean when you put them in a sentence. They had 30 years to realize that there isn't actually that much of a physical or hormonal difference between prepubescent males and females. There is some, and this is what makes it funny, is where they put the prepubescent part. Like, are they... Here's my problem with this and what makes it funny. I think these people think that Space Marines are taken from like 11 years old, which it's funny. Some may actually be taken from that age. I don't know all the lore. I try to keep up with my Space Marines because they're my favorite faction. But what I know so far is that, well... Let me give you an example. The Space Wolves have this grueling process of becoming one of them. And it's an interesting one. But I don't think you can survive that one if you're not an adult at that point. I'm just saying this whole prepubescent thing, it doesn't really make much sense. Okay. Let's move on to the next. I'm not even sure where I left off. Okay, this. Oh, well, that's depressing as fuck. To see them doubling down on this bullshit, it feels like a validation for all the sexist, bigoted neckbeards in the hobby, and that's not fucking okay. Way to go, Games Workshop. Once again, proving that Warhammer is for everyone was just mostly just talk. It's always been just talk, my dear Rando. It's always been just talk, because a company values money, and while Games Workshop has, I presume, no idea how their own lore works nowadays, the fact that they still keep this piece on is sublime. It's perfect. So yeah, it's just this is basically a collection of people getting mad at Warhammer and Horus Heresy. Games Workshop talk how Fask. Okay, I get what I mean. Loving chuds will not be missed. And our unwelcome starts to feel undermined when they put out turfy bullshit like this, which will only embolden the worst of the worst. They put the Jerry meme. I mean, that the Jerry meme is a pretty good reaction to most of this stuff here. Yeah. Oh no, turf. You're turf. Why? Because there's an only male faction, you're a turf, and you support that. Yeah, I also support the only female faction of Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence. But you know, who cares? This is literally zero. There is literally zero reason for this, by the way. And if your argument is the lore, who gives a shit? There isn't an inherent integrity to the lore of 40k. And that is one of the biggest points of the setting. No female marine should have been dropped long ago. So as I was saying about the deficient part, we can see that this person, well, this person doesn't suffer from anything. This person is just evil. And you know how you can tell that? Because this person is evil for the hobby. Why? Look at it. Look at this image again, and let's understand something. There isn't an inherent integrity to the lore of 40k. Well, my dear Randall, let me tell you something. The reason we have rules and stuff written, and we have basic guides for things, and we know stuff, is because we don't live like animals. That's why we have rules. That's why we have laws. So we don't live like animals. Some of them might not be good. Oh well, what can you do? But lore integrity makes a franchise good. It makes it appeasing. It makes it good for marketing and good for selling. And it's a reason why a bunch of people stick with a setting. Yes, that includes even World of Warcraft, I know. Unfortunately. But still, these aren't people that play or have fun or stuff like that with a hobby. No, they're just ideologues who want to push their own ideas and agenda onto people so they can get to be the high school bully they never got to be. Whoever in the hashtag Horus Heresy design team looked at the amount of community chat about this subject and decided now was the time to write this box out is, let's be honest, a dick. And an active obstacle to Games Workshop appearing more inclusive. You see here, I don't think this affects the inclusivity part when you have a faction full of women. 2 factions full of women, in fact. But one of them is the more expensive side with fewer models. Sisters of Silence, of course. I mean, and then you have the, what are they called? The Eldars. Very full of women. And that one. Just because one faction doesn't have women in it doesn't mean it's not inclusive. Yeah, whatever. It's funny how they care about Games Workshop appearing more inclusive. Games Workshop never cared about that until you. Okay, next one. This is saddening. This is a saddening step backwards. Warcom team. You release inclusivity statements, but when the push comes to shove, it turns out it was a hollow rhetoric. I'm deeply disappointed. Newsflash, little rando. That's how companies work. Nobody cares. In reality, they care about money and infesting the normal people with their propaganda, so they seem more inclusive and they do more stuff, despite them already reaching that or not. Welcome to corporate media, little rando. Funny how Games Workshop caring about their lore for one time, them getting one win, can trigger so many people. And these are just a handful of things they've got. There are more. This is really disappointing. At the Games Workshop official UK, fine. If you don't want female space marines, don't ever depict them. But to specifically rule them out when they mean so much to some hobbyists seems short-sighted and cruel. You could have just said nothing. You know what we don't have? We don't have fat marines either. I think we should have fat marines. Games Workshop has never excluded being fat. You know? We're not fat phobic, that's for sure. So why don't we see more fat marines? You know what? We need more fat marines. How about we start a movement where we try to get more fat marines? Yeah. Because the Games Workshop didn't exclude them, so you know. Fat marines are totally a possibility. If we forget everything about the lore, but yeah. Let's go on. Okay, one more. Hey, Warcom team, if you must have an excuse for why there's no female marines, fine. But this reeks of turf nonsense and is simply not acceptable. Stuff like this only encourages the bigots and sexists in this hobby that already has a big enough problem with. Do better. I mean, it's still the turf thing, which doesn't make any sense. But again, it's funny to see them like this. Look, do better. And what was missing was the clapping emoji for that. That would have been fun. But you know, no clapping emoji for us. And for now, we might get clapping emojis later. There might have been some that I've missed with clapping emojis. So if you came for the clapping emojis, I'm sorry, there's none. Happens. Even if you're willfully ignoring the whatever ideology at play here, it's just bad world building. How? You see, here's the funny. This person calls this bad world building when this is the world building. It's always been like that, dear Rando. It's always been like that. There's nothing bad about this. It's always been there and it's been accepted for a long while until you parasites came into the hobby and started leeching off it to, you know, get that power trip you miss when you were kids. You know, you never got to be the hallway monitor and now you want to be that. No thanks. Just bad world building. That's funny. You don't know good world building if you saw it. Probably a former fan of Harry Potter. I assume so. Let's see. Disappointing and sad they choose to include this. It was not necessarily damaging. But lore is sold through imperfect narrators. It may be the narrator here believes this as the Emperor said so. No one ever questioned it. The Emperor lied. Again. Now, as you can see here, we have heretic propaganda spouted by heretics. Surprising, right? I know. The Emperor only told us what we needed to know and the truth. So this is just heresy at this point. Chaotic heresy. Chaotic propaganda. That's what it has. It's heresy propaganda. So we're going to move on from this market here. And here's my favorite one. And the reason I decided to make this. Another reason I say never read lore. You see how I'm telling you they don't care about the universe? They don't care about the lore and stuff? They just want to become the hallway monitors? They want to be the class president that gets to have all the benefits of being the class president and not do stuff, and now they're trying to act like janitors, trying to mop up the people that have been here before and that know the lore. You see? No. These are not the people you should let into your hobby. These are the people that you should let out. These are the people that you should keep out of your hobby. Gatekeep, maybe? Yeah, I think gatekeep works. Keep them out of the hobby. That's gonna work. Let's see next. Welcome team, this is sexist and transphobic. How? I thought you were making games more inclusive now. Again with this transphobic stuff, but this all claim that sexist is also funny to me. And we're gonna get to the last one here. Since these are all I saved and there's a lot for me. Okay. In the year of our Lord 2022, there's no need to deploy this kind of language. It's at best lazy and at worst deliberately nasty. If Warhammer really is for everyone, then somebody made a disappointing choice here. GamesWorkshop can and should do better. Again with the do better stuff. I thought we were done with do better since like the 2016, when all the feminists got pwned and owned and the Ben Shapiros got rich. Who cares? So, yeah. I find this one funny in of itself because it still goes to the do better narrative, but it goes like, oh, if Warhammer was really for everyone, there will be no discrimination against players that don't agree with you or with what stuff Games Workshop has been pushing forward and how they've butchered their own lore. But it's not for everyone, right? Because at the end of the day, we're chuds laughing at you for destroying a hobby we kind of liked, and you can't take it. And when something doesn't go your way, then that instinct of losing your how monitor privileges are exploding. This is what we get. Funny enough. In the year of our Lord 2022, there's no need to deploy this kind of language. It's at best lazy and at worst deliberately nasty. I don't know. It doesn't sound nasty or lazy to me. It just sounds like what we've always known. That's like telling you 2 plus 2 makes 4. I mean, that's the thing with it. 2 plus 2 makes 4. Yeah. Thanks. Always known that. I give this person is a 2 plus 2 makes 3 or 5. But you know. I guess I'll end this here. 23 minutes. 25, huh? God, I went a little bit hard. Yeah, well. Have fun on this one.